Ready?
Hello and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, the video game music podcast. This is episode 3-8, and my name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm some guy he just met.
I just saw him on the street. I said, hey, you look like a guy who can do podcasts. Do you want to do a podcast?
And I asked if he had any Cliff Bars.
And I said, I do. I have a couple Cliff Bars, and he got in my car. We drove to the house. He finished his Cliff Bar.
Don't let him fool you. He ain't give me a Cliff Bar.
And now we're doing the show. And his name is...
Purnell.
So, actually, we've been doing this for 27 episodes, and not just picking him up off the street to do a podcast.
This is true.
Kids, don't get into strangers' vehicles and do podcasts. It's not a good thing.
Unless they offer you 2 Cliff Bars.
2 Cliff Bars.
That'll do the trick.
As long as they're the peanut butter kind. I like the peanut butter
Your
kind.
parents will understand.
There's a bunch that I really don't like. Anyway, on this episode, we don't just talk about Cliff Bars. We listen to great video game music. We listen to it, we talk about it, we discuss it, and we get into it. That's the show. We
ultimately just have a solid good time in hopes that you, the audience, has an equally good time.
Thank you for joining us today. The topic this week was suggested by a special guest, and we'll have our special guest at the end of our show. Her name is Lonnie, and she is a co-owner of Too Many Games, the convention in the greater Philadelphia area.
It's devoted to video games and video game-like activities involving like boards and music and the like, but rather than us go into, we'll let her tell you about it later on.
Absolutely. Kingdom Hearts is very special to her. It's very special to me. It seems to be pretty special to Purnell. He's playing through one of them right now, which was, what?
Dream Drop Distance on the 3DS.
Excellent. Oh, you switched it up. You were on the PSP earlier.
Oh, I play all kinds of games, man. If you're not paying attention, I'll just shake them up on you.
So yeah, we're gonna play a few songs a piece, and we're gonna get into a little bit of an interview towards the end. So look out for that, and then we'll close our show out. And we're gonna start the show off with my pick from Kingdom Hearts 1. Oh my goodness, did I pick from Kingdom Hearts 1?
We'll find out shortly, won't we?
Oh, I did. It's Kingdom Hearts 1, but the soundtrack is Disc 2. I saw Disc 2, and I thought it was Kingdom Hearts 2. That's great. Anyway.
This guy over here.
I'm going to start off by saying we're going to cover Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and then Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep.
Which to me is pretty much Kingdom Hearts 0.
It's Alpha.
EX plus.
It's Kingdom Hearts Third Strike. But anyway, the soundtracks are composed nearly entirely by Yoko Shimomura, who also has a bit of a Street Fighter background. So we're going to get into my first track for Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 1's, and this is called... I know, it sounds so strange to me. This whole game is odd. We'll get into that later, too. It's called Hand in Hand. I love that little thing at the end there. This was Hand in Hand from the game Kingdom Hearts 1 by Yoko Shimomura.
I was trying to pinpoint what part of the game it was, but I'm pretty sure it's combat. I know it's combat, and I think it pertains to, like, well, to specify for those who aren't familiar with Kingdom Hearts games, there is a ridiculously diverse array of music that goes into each one because they make tracks for combat that's exclusive to each location you visit, in addition to the actual location itself having its own set of themes. So essentially, every place you visit in the game has its own personality inside and out. It is a spectacular design choice on behalf of the staff and the sound team, and as a result, we all get to bask in that wonderment ourselves as we go through these bad boys.
Yeah, how about we hit that one more time? It sounds like a map, like an opening map theme.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's sweeping you through what your adventure will be.
It does kind of have that sound to it, which actually helps me kind of pinpoint where it is, because I'm almost positive this is like one of the first worlds you visit.
Yeah, I think so.
So if that's the case, well, there you go. It's like, hey, welcome to the brawl scene, friend.
One of the things that I really like about this is
that's what it is. Traverse Towns battles.
Oh, here it comes. I love how a lot of these songs have these little, like everything stops, and then there's these little flutes and little chimes at the very, very end. I think it's so pretty, and it's so Kingdom Hearts.
Wispy.
It's very wispy. Yeah, wispy came back again.
Sometimes I have a way of bringing it out.
Bringing it back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think that was a pretty good way to start the show. So what is your first track, Pernell?
Well, it's been a long time since I've picked up Kingdom Hearts 1. I think that's been the case for pretty much everybody who plays the games because Square's slow. But when I came across this bad boy in my recollection listening session, I had no choice but to pick it, and you'll know why. Oh, you'll know. The track in question is Monstrous Monstro from Kingdom Hearts 1. Ugh.
Let's give it a spin.
Welcome back to Rhythm and Pixels. You are listening to Monstrous Monstro, a track from Kingdom Hearts, the first game, composed by, as mentioned earlier, Yoko Shimomura, beast at the craft. This track...
Yeah, remind me where this is going on. It's been a very long time since I played Kingdom Hearts 1, but I remember the song itself really, really well. I love the all the horns going on back and forth. It's really fun.
It takes place in hell.
Okay, so it takes place in hell.
And by that, I mean Monstro
right.
the whale's stomach.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot. That's the name of a Disney thing.
Yeah, and to put the funny spin on this bad boy was, because I feel like I have a story for everything. Like, when this game came out, I couldn't afford it, but my brother could, because he had a better job at the time. So he bought it, and he was playing it in his room, and I didn't want to hear any of it, because all it was spoilers. So I ignored the game as best I could, until he got here. Because Monstro is a pain in the butt. It's a maze. A lot of doors that lead to nowhere logical. So, after a period of time, I got sick of hearing the music, and I went there. I was like, how are you still stuck in this place? And at this point, I pretty much picked up the controller and learned how to play the game to beat Monstro's level just to stop hearing this track.
Oh, that's great.
As good as it is, it was just, I got tired of it. And then, of course, it frustrated me, too, because the level, again, is a maze, and I also lost all the visual cues because he kind of used them all up. So, by the time I was done that level, I was ready for the full Monty at that point, so...
Yeah, this game is, the Kingdom Hearts games, I don't even know how to explain it, really. It's Squaresoft and all of, like, their crazy characters with chains and swords and emo haircuts and zippers mixed with Disney characters like Goofy and Pluto and the Chipmunks.
The Chipmunks? Or
Right.
you mean Chip and Dale?
Chip and Dale. What were they? Gerbils?
No, they're chipmunks, but when you say chipmunks, you're not. No one thinks Chip and Dale.
Yeah. We're thinking like, okay, the woodland creatures. But then they threw them together into the same universe, and then the story got bizarre because I guess Square's
And then
involved.
it got bizarre.
And then it got really weird. But it's fun though because it's because you're playing with these characters you know, and it's cartoony. But the fighting and the brawling and the magic systems and stuff, it becomes really addictive.
Wildly chaotic. I mean, like, this is one of the games where grinding to level up doesn't even feel like a chore. Like, I like beating things up in this.
Yeah, it felt very satisfying. It was really, really cool gameplay. It's so unlike a SquareSoft like turn-based RPG, it's a
Action combat RPG.
kind of an action combat, like action RPG, which I'm usually not a big fan of because I'm bad at video games.
But then the difficulty stage makes it so it's accessible to anybody.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, like, I also like how, again, most of the combat tracks in this game, again, they're tailored to each world you go to, but they also kind of, they have a lot of energy to them that makes you feel like you're getting up and moving, and it's kinetic. Akin to how the gameplay itself flows. Like this track here, if I didn't know what was going on in the game, I would feel like it's a guy running around like dropping plates all over the place.
Yeah,
Or
it does. Like someone's running back and forth. No.
Yeah, it's just nutty, and it's just it's a fantastical tune. And I am glad that this was pretty much well. Traverse Town was the first track I heard, but this was the second track I heard, and it was the one that really got me to go, "Hey, I can't wait to play this game. This sounds awesome."
Very, very cool. And it's cool. The soundtrack is really cinematic, and it's got that Disney movie, like sweeping, arcing, like feeling. Every song has a really strong feeling to it. But the composer wasn't Disney at all. It's Yoko Shimomura, traditionally working with Capcom, working with Square Enix,
Squeenix, yeah.
working with Square Enix to do the soundtrack. But she just smashed this Disney sound to bits. Like she just a master at it.
Which is a good thing, because for the umpteenth time a large fat heartless knocks you off of a ledge, you'll be glad you have a nice composer giving you the tunes that make you repeat sections over and over and over again.
All right, so
Over again.
speaking of
over again.
repeating sections, my next track is from Kingdom Hearts 2, and I believe this is from the section where the Rescue Rangers are flying through some kind of weird subspace thing.
It might be.
So I think it's what it is. It's a really odd part of the game. It's kind of unnecessary. Actually, I think it is unnecessary. You really don't have to do these stages, but they're really odd. So I'm going to play this one. This one's called Cloud Chasers from the game Kingdom Hearts 2. This is Cloud Chasers from the game Kingdom Hearts 2 for the PlayStation 2, again by Yoko Shimomura. More of a video gamey type sound going on here, but still has a lot of those cinematic elements to it.
I am actually kind of lulled into a state of relaxation because of this track.
Yeah, there's kind of like arpeggiated bells kind of going up and down. It's very relaxing. So again, it has kind of like in the clouds, kind of in the sky kind of feeling to it.
Yeah, I think it is fitting because even though the gummy ship travel stages aren't necessarily like located in any sense of reality.
I forgot. It's not even just a plane. It's a ship made out of gummy bears or gummies.
Gummy blocks, but they're
gummy blocks. It's molten pig's feet.
Hey, don't knock good craftsmanship, all right? If it gets the job done, if it gets you from planet to planet.
It's going to hold your ship together. Anyway. Yeah.
It was built by chipmunks.
Yeah, I remember being really interested in these sections. In Kingdom Hearts 1, you had to build these gummy ships in order to get from place to place. In Kingdom Hearts 2, I think it was optional. All those extra little challenges you could do with it.
Not exactly. The first game, both games, it was a requirement.
Right.
But you could do bare minimum, mind you, on either. But they were required.
I think it had to do with the percentage at the end of the game, right?
I think even the first game had a few bells and whistles, but the thing about it was the first game, gummy travel was pretty boring, and no one liked it.
Yeah,
but in the second game, they tweaked the living daylights out of it, and it became pretty fun.
Yeah, you can customize your ship. Like, you find all the pieces while you're fighting, and you go back and you actually build your own ship out of it. You put the engines on it and the guns on it, and you shape it.
Then you shake it all about.
And it was just shape it all about. It was really interesting that they put that kind of mechanic into the rest of the game. But then again, like, the whole game was odd. I mean, in this game they introduced Roxas. Roxas.
As if the first game wasn't confusing enough, the second game got more confusing because it was like, first you got your guys, you got the Keyblade Masters, you got your Heartless, and they introduced Nobody, so you have a Heartless and a Nobody that comes from a Somebody when you unlock their heart with a key, and somebodies are people, Nobodies form an organization that has lesser Nobodies fighting for them. And
I liked the word, like, calling them Nobodies or calling them Heartless. Like, I felt like the metaphors really worked. It really conveyed that kind of emotion of like, oh, you're trying to like find yourself, like who this person really is. Like, they're not just nobodies, and if you're nobody and you don't have like you're not a person or something, you become like a monster. It was really like but none of, I don't know, it was super confusing because
I think it was just their excuse to use more zippers.
Probably. And no, I think the excuse to use more zippers was the secret organization, right?
Yeah, 13,
which of course they had to give it a number, and they had to wear hoods. But the battles were crazy amazing. I remember you ran up like the building and stuff. It was all quick time events, but man, it was so cool.
Yeah, they added a lot more, like, I don't want to say cinematics to the combat, but they added a lot more like eventful combat motions that could take place compared to the first game, which, while it may seem lame, it actually worked well in execution. I was surprised. They made tons of improvements to the second game. They had the form system that they unlocked.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Your armor had different forms to it, and they had like an ultimate form at the end. You kind of like hovered around the stage.
Yeah,
it looked really neat.
And I also especially liked how you earned it because it was completely random. Like, it was the equivalent of like just surprisingly powering up to your ultimate form, because you're just like fighting, and out of nowhere it's like, I'm supposed to go bravery, but instead I'm gray and I've got two Keyblades hovering around me. It was really well done.
Really, really neat. Yeah, that's another thing. The keys, like, you're using the keys to open up the heart. Like the key to the heart.
And to bludgeon things.
And you beat things up with it. And then I don't know. I'm still thinking about the story of the game and how I was so confused by it. But and then at the same time, the gameplay kept me hooked, and all of the little hidden secrets and stuff, like Sephiroth is in it, and you could fight Sephiroth from Final Fantasy, because he's in everything, of course.
Well, just
He'll show up. Why not?
Let's go to my track next, because I want to keep talking about this game.
Absolutely.
But I want that track to get some love while we do it too.
All right. So what's your next track, buddy?
We're still doing gummy ships.
Okay.
But while Rob's gummy ship track took him to Sleepy Hollow, the good version, not the awful headless version.
The sleepy town.
The sleepy town, not the sleepy killer headless riding horse guy. But I, on the other hand, am going to take you to the danger zone. Ooh. Because this is the track that will earn you many a speeding ticket, and it's worth every dollar spent. And that track is called Hazardous Highway, and is also for Kingdom Hearts 2. Let's give that bad boy a spin, shall we?
Sounds good.
Welcome back. You are listening to Hazardous Highway from Kingdom Hearts 2, composed by Yoko Shimomura.
I don't know, man. This sounds more like something from an Atlas game, not Atlas, Camelot game.
Oh, I'm not sure about Camelot. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll have to think about that for a second. I'm not getting Camelot from this, though. This is very high charged and pumped.
Yeah.
And just like how the track that you picked was on the Gummy Ship stage, and it was one of the earlier ones. It was slower. Things were coming. It's like, here's how you fly a Gummy Ship.
Yeah, it's got kind of like a late '90s like racing game kind of feeling to it.
That's right.
Now this feels like Guilty Gear. It feels like pumped. Is this in the air too?
Yeah, the sky is pretty much like an orange and red hue.
Okay.
And it's a much faster Gummy Ship stage than the usual ones are.
All right, I'm there.
And yeah, like you were saying earlier, how Gummy Ships were unnecessary. If it weren't for Gummy Ships, I wouldn't have this track in my repertoire. And as a result,
Awesome, yeah.
I am thankful for those bad boys.
That's a great track.
It really gets the blood flowing. Like, seriously, I drive to this. I do that.
Oh yeah, this is actually all the Kingdom Hearts soundtracks are great. Just to leave in your car and just go.
Mm-hmm. I have to concur with that wholeheartedly, sir. And as we were talking about earlier, because now I want to talk Kingdom Hearts while this is in the background.
Yeah, so let's get into the Kingdom Hearts.
So, like, the sad reality behind it all is, like, for as much as I've played these games, and actually you too for the first and second games.
Yeah, ages ago, but yeah.
The stories are so convoluted.
I know.
That...
I gave up after two. I was like, no.
It's like, if I don't have an FAQ handy, I couldn't quite really lay it all out. I know certain details, like the whole relationship between Sora and Roxas, and thanks to playing our next game in the list, I know a little bit more about that even, too.
Right, and I don't think we're going to try to explain the story on the show, because I don't think we could explain it ourselves. We're going to focus on the music. Maybe some things we like about the games.
Oh, yeah.
But the story...
Yeah, it's out the door.
Yeah.
It's out the door. I don't think Square could explain it. But yeah, I mean, like, I like the fact that this really just gets the blood flowing, gets you pumped.
Yeah,
it makes you appreciative of the game design for this aspect of it, because the music kind of helps drive you to want to play more of that section. At least it did for me. So I have to say, this is, next to maybe two other tracks, this is my favorite track in the entire game.
Oh, really now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now,
this and the monochrome Mickey stage from Steamboat Willie.
Right. Yeah, that was a really cool area. That was like early in the game too, right?
Oh, no. It was like maybe halfway to 3/4 through because you had to
Oh.
go there to get like some kind of secret key or something.
That's right. Kingdom Hearts 2 had a lot of extra areas that I was really excited about when it came out. Like, there's a Tron area, which was so short.
Unfortunately, Space Paranoids it was called.
Yeah, that was Space Paranoids was the name of the game that Flynn, the character from the original Tron, that was his game, the game he created.
I didn't even know that. Actually, I've seen Tron and I didn't know that.
Yeah, I love Tron. I have it tattooed on my body. Yep.
TMI audience. TMI.
It's on my arm. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case.
My data disc is on my back.
Trank. I love how I just made a gesture that nobody can see, so it doesn't even quite translate well.
Some things on the show are just for you and me, buddy.
Works for me. Like this delicious can of LaCroix. He just did a thing where he pointed and said, "What are you doing with this LaCroix?" I don't know, whatever. It's an addiction. I can't help myself.
All right, so speaking of weird stories and titles, how about we get into their third game, which is called Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep 365
No,
Second Day.
No.
Isn't that the whole name?
No, those are two games.
Okay, so we're going to do Birth by Sleep.
Yes.
Okay, and then what's the other ones?
Basically, Birth by Sleep was the PSP release.
Yes.
And that was, again, like I tend to refer to as Kingdom Hearts Zero. If you play it, it explains it all.
Right.
But 365 over 2 is the Kingdom Hearts game on the DS that no one talks about because it was almost like they just needed to pump out an extra Kingdom Hearts game and they had no plot ready yet, so they just threw this thing together where, I mean, it does have a plot. I mean, it pretty much explains Roxas and his relationship with some girl who I guess is like a nobody for Kyrie. I can't remember her exact name anymore. Okay. She was the original Orc 13 member. It's the 13th member they called her. No, 14th member. But the gameplay just didn't gel to the point where, like, if you were to get ready for Kingdom Hearts 3, they released 2 re-releases on the PS3, and 365 over 2 was condensed to a bunch of cutscenes that they slapped into Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Remix.
Oh my god.
So,
this is so hard to keep track of.
Exactly.
All right, so let's just get into the music of Birth by Sleep. How about that?
I can do it.
Which is still a crazy name on its own, but at least it sounds like something. It's like You Are a Dream, which is a lot like Final Fantasy X, but that's a spoiler. So this is Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I chose the song Terra.
Ooh.
This is the song Terra from the game Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep for the PlayStation Portable by Yoko Shimomura. This song makes me want to stand up. Just like, it just feels so good. That violin is amazing.
It's like you're preparing to face some insurmountable challenge or fear.
No, it makes me feel like I have faced it, and I'm standing up.
Oh,
and
triumphantly.
Yeah, it feels great. And then, but there's a little bit of danger at the end, right here. Then the piano comes in.
I see that.
There's still a little danger there. You're not quite done. Boom. You're right back in there.
I can kind of see that too.
Oh, I love it. A lot of these tracks are actually pretty short, a little short. But again, like short classic video game music, there's a lot of parts to it.
Yeah, I guess I'm wondering if maybe they just did that with the intent of just expecting them to loop quickly and often.
Oh, maybe, or maybe it was like an artistic choice from Yoko Shimomura.
That's a good point.
Like this is how she composed, or maybe she wanted to compose this way for the game, knowing that there would be lots of movements to the story, and so they're telling the story through the music.
I like the way you think.
Maybe
sir.
I'm
I wouldn't
guessing.
have caught that.
I'm hoping, because that's what it feels like to me. Because these soundtracks are not small.
No, they are not. I mean, even with the tracks being 1 minute to like 1 minute and 50 seconds long, I think this one was still like 3 CDs, 2 or 3 CDs.
Yeah, and this is a really tiny little track here. It's only like a minute and a half, but it loops really great. So I'm leaving this thing on loop. It feels awesome.
I'm just going to stare at the ceiling here and assume a dragon's reaching in to eat me.
Are there dragons in this game?
Actually, I think there is. At least Maleficent, she counts.
Okay, Maleficent makes a return.
Yeah, she's a major
return.
component.
Cool.
Well, pre-turn.
A pre-turn. Oh, this is Kingdom Hearts Alpha Gold.
Yeah. EX plus Alpha Gold, Third Strike, Beta.
Like it.
Super hyper.
Super hyper turbo alpha Kingdom Hearts Gold.
But it's kind of funny, though, because this is, story-wise, it's the earliest in the series, but gameplay-wise, it's probably the most advanced and best.
Yeah, actually, before we started recording here, you gave me your PSP to give me a little chance to play it, and yeah, it felt really good, even though the camera was a little confusing.
Yeah, because there was only one thumbstick on the PSP, so you couldn't do twin-stick turns, so it was reliant on the LNR triggers for camera movement.
I have a hard time with like 3D positioning in games, which is why I'm not good at like FPS type stuff. So unless like the camera's being like, held for me, like I'm just confused.
Yeah, I believe, and with the way that game works, especially with all the freaking not evolution, but all the trance moves and stuff like that, you're constantly bouncing around as you go. Again, all the more reason why it's good for music to be kinetic.
Absolutely. So I think your track's a little bit more kinetic.
Yeah, I mean, light and airy, but also kinetic nonetheless. I had a hard time choosing because there were a number of, distinctly personable tracks that caught my eye, or ear, as it were. But the one I settled on in the end was what is played in the, I want to say, Sleeping Beauty world.
Oh, okay.
Called Castle of Dreams, and that track is referred to as Castle Escapades.
Oh, nice.
Escapades.
All right, let's give that one a listen. Let me load that up and hit the button. Got a little bounce to it.
Jimmy Chung. Like this one. Welcome back. You are listening to Castle Escapades, played in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, composed by Yoko Shimomura. This track takes place, again, as mentioned earlier, in the Castle of Dreams stage. Unfortunately, due to the fact that the PSP had, quality or there's power limitations compared to the PS2, the environments weren't as populated, so to speak, as far as like objects to give more of an atmospheric vibe to the environments you went to.
Okay,
But
there weren't as like many like
you weren't finding like chairs and stuff sitting around.
not like assets, like a lot of like scenery.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to find the word scenery.
You
There's the
basically
word
walk
scenery.
into a barren room with a staircase. It's like, here's some guys, beat them up. But even with that in mind, what they did include was definitely enough to get the point across of the environment you were in and the music. It's like this track included really did the job of filling in the holes that the environment could not.
It's got a great tempo. It's very bouncy, and then it starts to sweep right here. A lot of the songs like have like a slower section or like a bouncy section, and then it sweeps right through the middle.
Yeah, this track gives me an impression of brawling in a ballroom. Which is ballroom brawl.
Ballroom brawling.
Leave your slippers at home, folks, because you need mobility for this combat session.
The ballroom blitz.
No. Ballroom brawl.
Ballroom brawl.
We got to be specific on this.
Okay.
But like when I was playing it earlier, because I felt some episodes make me want to play the game that they're about just because I want to experience it again. And I played with Aqua in this stage.
Aqua
is one of the 3 characters you can use in Birth by Sleep.
Okay.
She is probably the second oldest to oldest of the 3.
Are you able to play as a Disney character?
No Disney characters can be controlled, but you can bond with them and do like link ups to get some of their moves and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I can't
bonding with them, you like kind of hang out, you get to know each other.
Well, in the sense of like the more you use their set of moves, the more you unlock. So it's like
neat.
a sense of bonding that way.
So you do kind of bond with them.
It's really cool because, I mean, basically that was another issue where it was like, due to the limitation of the system, they didn't have means for 3 players to be being controlled by 2 people to be controlled by the computer.
Yeah, that was always a little bit of a challenge in the other Kingdom Hearts games where like Donald?
Yeah, Donald was
Yeah,
one.
I was thinking Looney Tunes still. So Donald and Goofy running around doing their own thing, and then like their computer AI, not always perfect.
Yeah, unfortunately so. Though Goofy was always a beast no matter how you cut it. Even when he was doing wrong things, he was kicking butt.
Yeah. And then Donald was just over there wasting all your items.
Yeah, he was. He was terrible with that MP consumption. But, he did his job as best he could, and that was okay.
What kind of characters would you see in Birth by Sleep? Is there Chicken Little?
Nope.
Is there
Stitch is in it, though.
Stitch? I was going to say Stitch, yeah.
Yeah, Stitch is there.
Oh, great.
Which is awesome, too. I like his stage a lot. You go on you're basically fighting on a spaceship. Because before he meets Lilo, obviously, he's basically still imprisoned on the ship.
Yeah, I think Lilo and Stitch is my favorite. I think it's my favorite Disney movie.
If it's not mine, it's definitely in the top 3 because it's very much unlike any other Disney film at the time, at least at that time.
Definitely.
When it came out, people were kind of shocked by it, if I remember correctly.
It was different. It was really different. It was definitely a different kind of family story, which I think was important.
Yes, it was.
And they were so cute. Little Lilo and Stitch were just adorable.
The way Lilo beat that kid up for some reason I don't even remember.
Oh, I remember
anymore.
that. Yeah. It was I think he was like making fun of her.
Yeah, she was just calling her weird, I think.
Yeah, just calling her weird, and she was like, "No," and she bit him. That's right, she bit him. Mm-hmm. This is good biting music.
I'm not seeing. Maybe if I'm in the ballroom with a nice turkey. Nom 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 nom.
Well, how about
nom, nom.
how about we move on to our little interview with our special guest? We'll bring her on the show. How does that sound?
I think that sounds like a rather cromulent idea.
All right, let me give her a call and bring the music down, and let's give her a call.
Ring a ding ding.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing great.
Fairly sleepy, but that's what caffeine's for.
Yeah, Pernell will wake up by the time the show is over.
A $5 says you're on.
Chug that caffeine.
So, tell us, why did you want to listen to some Kingdom Hearts tonight?
Well, I was, just talking with Pernell, thinking it over, and it's just, to me, as far as games go, it's some of my favorite video game music of all time, basically, and some of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, mine too. I've only played through the first two, but the second one has a real special spot with me because I had the flu for a few days, and I played through it while I was really sick, and I tried to 100% it, which
Also,
was a lot
Zach
of fun.
Braff.
And Zach Braff did the what was that, Chicken Little?
Chicken Little.
I love that.
We haven't played the game in like 10 years, but we still occasionally break out the crappy voice because it's so hilarious.
Oh, it's great, and he only says like baseball. That's all he ever says.
He also says, I can do it. You do it. I'm not doing your voice.
I can't even remember how to do it.
Oh, man. Well, I'm not doing it.
I'm not going to do it. Anyway,
Dang.
what was I going to say? Yeah, tell us how are you involved with the convention Too Many Games?
Well, I am the PR director, and I'm actually a part owner as well. Yeah, it's been a really wild ride. We're actually in our 12th year this year.
Holy.
Yeah, I had no idea. That's a lot of years.
A lot of years, and we keep striving to get bigger and better and have more fun. And now we have it's a 3-day event. Last weekend in June. And there's just so much to do, and there's just too many games. So,
So how many was it? Was it only 2 days or 1 day last year, or is this?
well, no. Actually, it's been 3 days for a few years now. But we're actually packing in more hours. We have a lot of additional special events that we didn't used to do. We do like a video game burlesque show was one thing that we added last year.
Okay.
That was a big success. We're bringing that back. We do a live wrestling tournament.
Whoa.
Can we combine the burlesque and the wrestling?
Yes, in fact,
Burlesquing.
burlesque.
Can I sign up for that? I want in. I didn't know I did, but now I know.
So, will Pernell be wrestling, or will he be slowly removing clothes? Or telling dirty jokes? I honestly don't know what's involved with the whole burlesque thing. But
No, I didn't see that on Pernell's panel submission. I didn't see that.
I forgot to put it on there.
He's going to surprise you. That's what's going to go on.
Okay.
Breakdance.
So, what's your favorite part about Too Many Games? Like, what's the one thing that you are looking forward to this year?
Well, me personally, coming from my point of view, running the convention, helping run the convention with a great organization of people and volunteers, my favorite part is actually just watching the attendees enjoy the show. That's always great. I personally love all of the panels. We have a lot of special guests that come in from all over the world. That talk about all kinds of different interesting information. We started a new event type panel last year also called Video Game Improv, and that is a riot. So I have to say that's probably one of my favorite newer things that we do.
Tell us about that. What is that, like a sketch comedy situation, or is it like like people make up their the premises for games or something?
Yeah, I mean it's it's similar to sketch comedy, and like people that you see that do sketch comedy, they often also are well versed in improv and the art of improvisational comedy. With this being the theme of gaming, and excuse me just a second. So yeah, it's basically just a bunch of people up on stage, some of our special guests who are sort of comedic actors and actresses who have been in the gaming circuit for X number of years, and this is what they do. And they come together and they bring the audience members up and have a blast, sort of make up all of the funny stuff on the spot, sort of like you guys.
I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm getting up on stage anytime soon. Not without a lot of whiskey.
Probably more comedy, because comedy isn't necessarily been our goal.
But we're working on it.
But maybe one day.
It's sort of like a byproduct of what you're doing.
I'm certainly not anti-comedy, but you might think that if you first meet me in person.
I'm Rob.
Very serious man. No.
But also, that's really cool, because as you describe all these different events, I mean, I've done a lot of cons over the years, hitting the circuits and such, and you're naming off a number of events that are, in my opinion, in my understanding, fairly unique to Too Many Games repertoire. Definitely something for people to want to come and check out, just to see just how video game improv can work out in the grand scheme of things.
No, I think that sounds really fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So I won't be able to attend this year. My wife has surprised me with a nice little vacation, and it just happened to be on these days. So it's great, and I'm a little sad. But I know that what was approved was Purnell and Matt Play Games panel.
Yes. Right. So, I was just curious. I mean, I know, Purnell, you've done a couple of panels that were very successful at the convention in the past. And so tell me a little bit about what the Purnell and Matt Play Games panel is going to be like this
basically,
year.
My wife and I... Wait a minute. No. No. Myself and I, co-host Matt, are going to be on stage.
That's your YouTube wife.
Yeah, yes. Don't tell too many people. Secret. Basically, we're going to go up and we're going to perform our show, which is Purnell and Matt Play Games. And in a sense, it's similar to this. It's more so just us using our personalities in scope of playing typically a game that could either be considered challenging, frustrating, or interesting in the form of co-op. And we discuss the game and things about the game. And just in the case of with us having an audience, we'll discuss things with the audience while we do it. Essentially, it's just a fun outing, just hanging out with people who like good gaming and like watching a guy get really angry at a game he has no business trying to play. We're still debating on what our title or titles will be, so I don't want to say on here. But we did come up with one really interesting idea last week, and that may well end up being the product because I showed Rob during a visit.
Oh, yeah, you showed me. I got one word for you: burlesque.
Yes. I mean, no. Yes. No. I mean, yes.
No. I'm actually. I'm sad I'm missing it because from what you showed me, I was very excited.
Yeah.
By the gameplay.
Yes, the awesome burr gameplay. But like it was a lot of fun, and I'm hoping people end up enjoying it because the goal is that we want to have fun playing the game. We want to have fun with people who enjoy watching people play games. Heck, maybe have a guy come up on stage and play with us. Who knows? But essentially, that's the idea. And previous panels that I've done have had similar scopes where it's usually some kind of roundtable discussion about some sort of gaming product or gaming ideology. Right. And well, it's like, even when we originally came up with the idea, I was like, this sounds like it would be pretty boring. But it actually ends up being a lot of fun because it really is just, here are a bunch of guys who know their stuff and also don't. But who cares? Because they're awesome to hang out with, and we want to talk with them. And that's us talking about the audience. So I think it'll be a pretty fun time.
Our listeners should know that this podcast is clean. The Purnell and Matt Plays Games is just them kind of cursing at each other for a good hour. No.
Well, no, but
when you guys watching you guys play Battletoads, I think there was a bit more.
Well, because it's Battletoads, man. That game
is Battletoads.
I think you get a pass on that one.
Yeah, that game made me angry, and of course, the funny part about it was that we played it. It was one of our first episodes, and Matt lost the footage somehow, so we had to play it again. And I hated the game both times we did it. So the second recording I was even angrier because I just didn't want to play the game. But that was what made such a good episode. So, and it was also my first time ever playing Battletoads too. So
that's ridiculous, by the way.
How did you figure that?
It's just
not even. Not.
It's not that I'm ashamed. I'm just disappointed.
I guess you get one. I mean,
I get one. I get one of those.
You get one.
So, before we wrap things up, what's aside from Kingdom Hearts, like what are some of your favorite games, current and past? Because we cover them all on this show.
Oh, well, I mean, I like some of the stuff that you guys have reviewed. I've actually, I've been so busy these days, I haven't gotten to play a lot of games.
I understand.
And, yeah, it's kind of sad, actually. I mean, I wind up, there's a couple of fallbacks that I have, in between doing this convention stuff, I'm out promoting my convention. So I'll go to, I'll go up to these conventions. Purnell is, he has his Vita and or DS. I've got my 3DS, and I wind up playing, stuff like Animal Crossing.
No, that's cool. You got to have like a comfort game, like a good thing you can get back to. And
you call it a comfort game until you're missing like one seashell or the fruit that you do just isn't in season at the time, and no one's trading. And all of a sudden, yeah.
Right. So I mean that's true. This is a good comfort game. It's a good fallback for me. I must have, I probably have like at least a dozen DS titles sitting in my drawer that I need to, pick up and start. And
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of great DS games.
there they
for
say.
sure.
Yeah. I'm really interested in, there's a couple of new games that came out. There's a whole bunch of stuff. And one thing that we have at the convention is we have an indie game showcase.
Ooh.
So we've got a lot of new developers and independent developers that, are just getting their name out there and have some pretty good stuff. So I'm always interested in playing new indie games. And I just, it's just about finding the time for it.
Also, I just want to point out that she kind of held back on her hustle game there, but she'll kill a person at Miss Pac-Man. Don't let her front.
That's the great equalizer in this house, is the Miss Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I can hold my own. That's one game I can hold my own in. And thanks, Pernell.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
So tell us about where and when the convention takes place.
Okay, well, it is the last weekend in June. That's June 24th through 26th, and it's at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. And it's, 3 days of nonstop fun, basically. Some of the stuff I told you about, our special events like the burlesque and the live wrestling, is sort of like a live Super Smash Brothers tournament in front of your eyes, with video game characters. Pretty cool. Panelists, we've got concerts going all 3 days, live music. We have bands, we fly in from all over the place, and DJs spinning all kinds of cool chip tunes.
Great.
And we've got a huge vendor room. We've got over 60 vendor tables this year, selling all kinds of stuff from new to old. You've got, your retro stuff. You've got your brand new stuff. You've got a lot of different crafts, a lot of really cool artistic people that come. I really like to see those artsy vendors come out and sort of share the stuff with the fans. And the attendees love to get new, something that relates to their favorite games that they can then, take home and have as a souvenir.
That's really
In
cool.
addition to video games, though, I know I've always just been talking about video games. We also have a huge tabletop area.
Ooh, awesome.
Yeah. I know Pernell's waiting. I don't know about you, Rob, but I know that we've hit the board games quite a few times.
I've been thrown out of this house many times.
No. Pernell and Christy, my wife, like to argue. They really get competitive, which is a lot of fun to watch. So yeah, we play a lot of games. No, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'm really going to be sad to be missing that, but definitely our listeners, if you're in the area, come check it out. Come see Lonnie. I'm sure you'll be walking around the floor. Come see Pernell. You can't miss him.
He'll be tripping on the floor.
He'll be crawling on the floor, but still taller than everybody.
And then, one thing I wanted to mention, because I almost forgot. I know you won't be around to do full track selections, but did you have any particular tracks from the games that particularly spark your fancy?
Yeah, I mean, you asked me to sort of think about it, and I told you I love pretty much all of the Kingdom Hearts music, and there was a time actually where I got Kingdom Hearts 1 soundtrack, and I had it in my car in the CD player for, I don't know, it had to be over a year. So yeah, I wrote a little note here. These are my little nerdy notes.
We like the notes. We gotta have notes.
Remember what was what.
If they're on Post-its, even better.
Sometimes Pernell's like, "Is that part in that game that this happens?" And I'm like, "Oh no, that's not the name of the track."
Exactly. Because sometimes there's so much where music ties into a game and the feeling of the game, and that's what you remember. Okay, this part where I was playing through and I was fighting this boss and it was so epic, and whatever that thing is called. That's another reason why we're so centered on music at the convention, because there's such a real tie to your feeling for what you're playing, to the sounds behind the music.
That's the truth.
Absolutely.
I've nailed so many speeding tickets because of the way I felt when the music was playing from the game. Really
yeah. So here I have written down here a couple of things. I'm so sorry for the background noise. That was really rude.
Don't worry about
it. So, I mean, there's so many great songs. I'm thinking of, a few games. Pernell said, hey, just a few games. Which ones do you like, and what are some good songs? So, Kingdom Hearts 1, again, I love the entire soundtrack. I mean, I could just listen to that anytime. If I had to pick a few songs, I love Traverse Town.
Okay.
That's where you spend a lot of time early on there. It starts to feel like home. It has like that comfortable kind of homey theme. So I like that a lot. So many of the different worlds themes are just fantastic, and hearing them takes me back to all of the different levels and all the different challenges that you have to go through. But I have to say that Simple and Clean is like the instrumental version.
Yeah.
That has to be my favorite track from the game.
Yeah, I was addicted to that song. Before I even knew what the game was about, I heard the song, and it's what made me want to play the game.
Oh, wow.
Hikaru, wasn't it?
Yeah. I've heard a lot of her like trance remix stuff before that. Someone gave me like a CD of that, and I was like super hooked on it.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine not even playing the game, and I would probably have loved it myself. But it seems like it's an easy answer. It's just like I'll go back to this song over and over again. It's like, to me, it's everything that is Kingdom Hearts. It's like I hear the song and I feel it, and it like captures the whole essence of the series for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has like that whole sense of wonderment and adventure. You gotta stop doing that, please. So, it's like if I hear it, I happen to hear it, or I happen to play it on a track or play it on YouTube. I'm just, messing around with music, and I actually feel like I want to play through the whole game again.
Thank you very much for joining us, Lonnie. We appreciate your time, and thanks for being on our show today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, guys. I'm sorry for the sort of the audio being a little messed up here and there, and I'm glad that you were able to fit me in today.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Thank you very much for taking the time to come along.
Well, thank you for joining us today on the Rhythm and Pixels Video Game Music Podcast, our podcast about video game music. This is episode 3-8. This has been our first focus on Kingdom Hearts. I'm saying our first because I'm sure we're going to come back to this because the music has been just beautiful.
And it will be just as perplexing then as it is now.
Yeah, it won't get any easier to understand, but the music can always be enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to contact us, let us know how we're doing. If you got anything you want us to, any topics you'd like for us to cover, let us know on our email address.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
And if you have any interest in the rest of our show, if you want to see some more episodes, get some full track listing, or just more information about us, go to our website.
No W's.
rhythmandpixels.com.
rhythmandpixels.com.
And if you like what you're hearing, please hit the subscribe button on wherever you're listening to this podcast. And if you're on iTunes, it would really help us out if you would please go ahead and hit the rating button and leave us a nice little comment. Even if it's not the greatest comment, we'd like to hear it. We'd like to get some feedback, what we can do better, what you'd like to hear. It would be great. In the background is DJ Joe. This is his remix from Kingdom Hearts.
One of the intros.
Yeah, it's actually used in all of them. It has a name, and I don't have the name in front of me, but it's pretty heavy.
Well, most likely, if someone wants to know the name, we have that glorious website.
Yes,
which I butchered earlier. Rhythmandpixels.com.
Right. At the end of most of our shows, we have what was called the bonus round, and we will play remixes and covers of the games within our topic, and we always will have the artists' bio information and their websites and their SoundCloud, Bandcamp, all their information. So if you like the music, you can go out there, check it out, send them a few bucks on their Patreon or wherever, and get a hold of it.
Honestly, That's a large part of why we do what we do. There's something nice to say about sharing not just the tracks that we already know from the composers we love, but also people who legitimately love the music to the point where they inject their craft into it to churn out something completely homage-worthy yet unique in its own right.
Yeah, it's like you love it so much that you want to honor it in your own way. You know, it kind of comes through you, and so I feel like a lot of like really good cover or a really good remix really shows that. I have to say, everything I've heard and played on the show from the artist Ben Briggs, I think epitomizes that ideal, because it's very true to the original music, but it's got its own flavor. Yeah, he's got his own keyboard chops, his own skill. It sounds great.
It's the difference between a strawberry and a strawberry mango.
Like a strawberry mango water ice.
Yes, exactly. So now you're catching on.
Catching on now. Yeah, it's going to be hot. Time for some summertime stuff, right?
We're coming up, but we got to choose the sweet spot. We got to wait. We got to get it right when the when it strikes hard, not Memorial Day, not that not that ceremonial summer. We're talking the real deal.
All right. So, episode 3-9 is coming up. Wow.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's the next one, 3-9.
Time is moving, and so are these episodes. I think it's hard to believe we got to this point. Like, not in the sense of, like, not getting here, but more like that we've been doing it this long. Because time is just, I'm losing track half the time.
A lot of big things have happened in both of our lives since we started the show.
Exactly. That's a very good way to
think that's what's going on. But we won't get into that. Next episode, 3-9. Check it out next Monday. It's going to be intro music.
And the life and times of Robin Purnell, apparently.
Yeah, we'll talk about ourselves a little bit more. No, probably not. We'll just talk about the music. It'll be either intro music or ending theme music. Probably intro music.
Well,
Tune in next week to find out.
I don't know. If I can help it, I might try to inject what would Purnell's intro theme be if he walked onto the scene?
Ooh, that's a great idea. We pick our favorite intro themes and then our personal intro themes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. See that?
I'm down for that.
Game on.
All right. Again, this has been the Rhythm and Pixels video game music podcast. I've been Rob Nichols.
I've been and still may be Purnell. We'll find out.
And I want to thank you to our special guest, Lonnie. Have a great day.
And remember, just because a person seems a little off and weird on the outside doesn't mean they're not worth getting to know, because you just may unlock the key to their heart.
Oh, my God.
Which would unleash a world of personalities you'd be glad to discover. So give everyone an equal shot and chance.
Don't be a nobody.
Be a somebody.